light seekers and truth seekers. So, we are moving into the second week of the Abundance Challenge, and I don't want you to feel challenged by developing a consciousness of abundance. It's just a way to say that we're doing this new thing that's fun and challenging. So, week 2, day 7 is different. It's going to be a little bit different because whereas in the first week, we were really focused on busting up those 3D paradigms, clearing those 3D densities out of our bodies even. It's a process that has been ongoing for the past decade, really, that people have really been focused on clearing out the 3D densities out of consciousness, out of our bodies. But that density, those paradigms and programs have to be replaced with something new, something of the 5D consciousness. So what we're working on replacing those old consciousness with is a consciousness of abundance. So we're expanding our consciousness to always be geared towards abundance. So the 3D paradigm is a lack, scarcity, fear paradigm. And the 5D paradigm is an abundance, joyful, loving paradigm, opposite of the 3D paradigm. So as we try to ground ourselves in that newer paradigm and consciousness, we're going to have to consider some actually really old spiritual laws. So this second week is about focusing on the spiritual laws that allow us to connect to the abundance within and therefore manifest it externally. So for day 7, the focus is on using consciousness to manifest the life of your dreams. So I use my conscious intentions to manifest my dreams. That is what we are moving into for day 7. And so the spiritual law is one of manifesting from your internal self, and you have to get really clear on the power that we hold within. So yesterday we were talking about internal power. The mind direction, the mantra for day 7 is Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. So we've been focusing on that mantra for a while, existence, consciousness, bliss. So you're existing and you're conscious, and within that existence, you want to tap into blissfulness because that's a space from which you can manifest most abundantly. So that is what the focus is for day 7. So we're trying to manifest the life of our dreams. And in order to manifest the life of your dreams, you have to be clear on what it is that you want. So spend some time today thinking about what the life of your dreams represents for you. And I encourage you to try to think beyond the material. Try to think beyond it's a certain job with a certain amount of money and a certain salary and a certain car and a certain house. That's actually a very limited kind of conception of what the life of your dreams could be. When you're thinking about the life of your dreams, you should be thinking about the kind of experience that you want to have. You should be thinking about the kind of emotions, high vibrating frequency emotions that you want to be exposing people to and being exposed to. So you want to get abundance consciousness is not in the material. 3D consciousness is very much in the material, but abundance consciousness moves outside of that. It's about the intangibles that really make life worth living. And that's why so many of us are lost in the 3D programming, because we've been trained to focus our consciousness on that which isn't really important. The material isn't that important. It is important if you're lacking it. So if you're in need, if you're really poor, then the material is direly important, because we do have physical bodies that we need to maintain, and you need a certain amount of physical things to maintain your body. But once you get beyond that, once you have enough to eat, enough to drink, enough comfort, no matter how much more you get, it doesn't make a difference. So, you only need enough. And then after that, you need your focus to be on other things. What kind of services you want to provide to the collective? What makes you happiest? When are you at your most joyful? You need to really concentrate on those experiences when you're crafting the life of your dreams. Now, what the life of my dreams is, I wrote a mantra many years ago about the life of my dreams, and I set an intention. So, my intention was this: I intend to write spiritually healing books about life, love, and the journey, and to live well. So that's been my intention for many years, and I've done that. I've written a book. I have a memoir, The Way Through: Lessons Learned on Life, Love, and the Journey. And that memoir is about how I had to overcome so much of the darkness that was inside of me based on all of the traumas that I experienced in early childhood, in my early life. Um, I had a very three-dimensional experience with fear and violence and trauma, and so many of us do. And that is where we often get disconnected from our internal, authentic spiritual selves. And so once that happens, we've got to figure out how to reconnect. And that was a journey for me. That took about 20 years to figure out how to do that. I started in the late 90s, and I would say that I cleared out most of the density because I had a lot of heavy 3D energy around that. About 10 years later, when I finished that book. So that was my work in clearing out the most of the 3D density that was holding me back. And it was really holding me back, causing me to have a really unhappy life. So I'm living proof that you can clear out these 3D densities and have an entirely different kind of life that takes an entirely different kind of tone. But with regard to manifesting the life of your dreams, you always want to focus on um, what kind of experiences that you wanted to have. I knew that I wanted peace and happiness, and no matter what kind of material things that I had, because I had it all. I had a lot of material things that a lot of people think would have brought me happiness. It didn't, because I was stuck in that lack, fear, scarcity consciousness nonstop, no matter what I had. So that's why I'm saying the material things are not the answer. It's just a hamster wheel that you get on, chasing after those material things, trying to find fulfillment. You have to find fulfillment within yourself, and it has to be based around service to others, what it is that you think you can do for people that is fulfilling to you as well. So this is what I like to do. I like to talk about spiritual things and how to get out of 3D and how to clear your past traumas. And feel free to leave me any comments or questions about clearing out your densities or your traumas, because I feel like that is where I can be of most assistance to people. I've done that work in the past. I've taught at community college where I've talked to people about, how it is that you can clear out the 3D densities. I think that the human collective at large is really wanting to clear out those densities. So it's important work that we're doing, and we're doing it now on a massive scale. That's what all this purging around the racial paradigms in America that has gone global is about. It's about clearing out that paradigm that people are less than based on something as silly and stupid and simple as the color of your skin. So that's a huge 3D paradigm that is worldwide. It's not just America. Everywhere in the world, you have these systems that say lighter people are better than darker people. And it's idiotic. It's 3D. It's all tied to that fear, lack, and scarcity paradigm programming. So, as we're clearing these things out collectively on a very massive and large scale, we also have to recognize that we may have some part of that in our own lives that we need to clear out. Anytime you're sitting up thinking that someone is less than you because you are a victim of 3D egoic programming, that you need to let go. And you need to let it go for you. Let me say that again. You need to let the egoic 3D programming go for you. Because as long as you're holding on to the idea that someone is less than you are subjecting yourself to that same violence. You are believing that you are less than someone. It can't work any other way. As you give, so you shall receive. So be sure to be conscious of that 3D program running. That 3D programming runs at a variety of levels. It runs at a conscious level, it runs at a subconscious level, it runs at a semi-conscious level. Be conscious of that programming running and shut it down. Just to be like, nope, I don't participate. I'm not participating in this programming. I don't participate in these kind of paradigms. I'm not doing it. Just decline to do that and watch what happens in your life. Just watch how your experiences around you change. I mean, I've talked about how we all are creating an energetic field based on our thoughts and emotions, and that energetic field changes drastically when you change any negative thoughts or emotions that you are emitting or ejecting. It changes the actual frequency around you. So see yourself as like a big egg. Like you have your body and you have all this energy around your body. It's kind of like an egg. It's just a big egg around you. And that egg attracts stuff in this external illusion. It's all energy. So it attracts that energy based on what you're emitting in your egg shape. So make sure that you are emitting it at a very minimum, a neutral and peaceful vibration, because then you will have neutrality and peace in your external experiences. And in this chaotic times, that is like golden. That's beautiful to be able to ground yourself in that space. Now, from that space, you always want to try to reach higher. So today, in fact, this week, we're trying to reach higher. If we're manifesting the life of our dreams, we have to get in a really high vibrating place, because that's where that kind of manifestation is going to take place. And I want to show you a picture of the chakra system. I did this picture of the chakra system. I can't get this. All right. Here we go. All right. So you have 7 chakras. Really, we have 12 that go all the way up to a very much higher spiritual, huge soul self. But we've got our lower chakras down here. And these are all the chakras. When you just are running these chakras, you're very much in an egoic, primitive egoic 3D state. So the first chakra is our is at the base of our tail, and that is our survival chakra. It's red, and it is for survival. So it's all about, what can I eat, what can I drink, what can I breathe. I just need to survive. Then we move up to the sacral chakra, right above. It's at your pelvis. That has to do a lot of times with sexuality, sexual expression, pleasure, but it still is tied to survival. So if it's not connected to the higher chakras, it's going to express itself in dark, repressed 3D ways. So that's the second chakra, up from the first. Then you got your solar plexus chakra. That's your stomach, and it is about power. And again, power is a very 3D construct. I just was watching this show, really interesting, Warrior Nuns. And on that show, someone was making a speech about how why the Catholic Church would want to be so close to so much corruption and that which is evil. And so the person who was giving the speech said, because when you have fear, you can keep people in a state of fear, you can manipulate them. And without fear and manipulation, there is no power. So power, and I had never thought about that before, but power is tied to fear and manipulation. And so all of that is of limited consciousness. So the kind of power that the 3D grid runs off of is just manipulative, fear-based power. And that's not, that's not real power. It's not internal power, which is what you want to tap into when you're working with a consciousness of abundance. You want to tap into your authentic, spiritual, internal power. And we do that by tapping into our heart chakra. So that is the biggest and most powerful chakra that we have inside, that is internal to us, that's inside of our bodies. So we want to really be conscious of how we are using this heart chakra, and we are using it correctly when we are emanating the vibrations of joy and peace and love. So you want to be conscious of that and emit that in your daily activities and your daily life and everything that you're doing to create the life of your dreams. If you want to create the life of your dreams, that's where you need to begin with making sure that your heart chakra is emanating the right vibrations. And the life of your dreams is going to come to you once you start doing that. And that goes against all the 3D programming that any of us have ever received. I understand. So it takes, conscious effort to do this work, but it's well worth it if you want to have the life of your dreams. Above that, you have your throat chakra, which is your voice of creative expression, and it's how you are able to voice, that love and that peace and that joy, and bring that out into the world. So it's an important chakra. Then we have our third chakra, which is our intuition, that connects us to our higher, more expanded spiritual self, that is at our crown chakra. So that is the crown chakra, slightly above your head, and it opens up to all these other chakras that are in other realms that we're not usually able to access, because we're so grounded in the physical and in the three-dimensional. So focus on that heart chakra when you want to manifest the life of your dreams. Understand that that's where the creation begins. It begins in the heart, and it begins with the correct vibrational emanations from the heart. All right, so let's get to it. Your activity for today is going to be creating, visualizing what the life of your dreams looks like. Just write it down with as much specificity as possible. You want to have that in a journal that you can repeatedly go back to. You want to set an intention for it. And so that's what's up for today. All right, I'll post the links for that below. And good luck with day 7 and moving into a more expansive awareness of abundance consciousness this week. All right, bye-bye. See you tomorrow.